parent, um, like read their stories, look at their actual lives, like grapple with the reality, not the euphemisms of if the adults are happy, the kids are happy. Look at the kids' lives and tell me, like, was it worth it? Right? Was it worth it? Their turmoil, their struggles, their diminished outcomes, if you want to talk about it in kind of sociological terms. But you are messing with a child's whole life here. And sometimes that happens through tragedy, but when it happens because an adult places their own self-identification or their own sexual desire or their own romantic inclination over the rights of a child, that's an injustice.
I want to talk about marriage and divorce for a reason that I've mentioned a couple of times in this conversation, which is that it's sort of like these issues have been so these trends have been so normalized that a lot of people probably don't think twice about them. And divorce in particular, it's something that it's become normal for parents to divorce in the circumstance that you mentioned earlier, which is that they feel as though they've fallen out of love and they have a right to find their soulmate and live happily. Can you talk about what that scenario of divorce does to children? People who divorce not for reasons that involve violence or safety, uh, or egregious misconduct, but people who divorce because they've fallen out of love and they want to fall back into love. What do you think causes people to believe that's an appropriate reason for divorce, and how does that impact children?
Yeah. So, like I said, my husband's a pastor. And so we spend a lot of time doing marital counseling for couples that are struggling. And so I'm never going to diminish the hardship that marriage entails, right? There's a lot of challenges that adults have to grapple with, whether it's money related, porn, emotional affairs, communication issues, childhood baggage. I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that can threaten to disrupt a marriage. But if the adults fail to work that through, if adults choose not to do the hard work, in essence, what they're doing is they're saying, this burden is too heavy for me. Here, kids, you take it instead.
Mm.
Because divorce, I think a lot of people think, well, divorce is like a cold, it's tough, but the kids will get over it. But it's not. Divorce is, legally it's one event, but it's actually something that kicks off a lifetime of loss and transition for kids. They lose, first of all, what it does is it reduces. So we talk a lot in the book about how there's three staples for a child's social emotional diet: mother's love, father's love, and stability. If you go without any one of those three, kids will be malnourished. They just will, right? Kids need a lot of different things, but if they're missing mother's love, father's love, or stability, um, you will starve them in some aspect of what they need. And so divorce reduces mom and dad both by 50%. And oftentimes stability is gone after that. You've got so much transition happening with mom moving out, getting a new place, finding a new partner or husband. You've got dad who might have like a cycle of girlfriends coming through, or maybe remarry and then divorce. And of course, second marriages are more volatile than first, or more less stable, more likely to end in breakup. And so a child's divorce of their primary family usually often means that they will have further divorce in the two families that will spring off out of that. One of the things that I discovered when I was doing the research about divorce, which, let me just say, we've got a chapter on why marriage matters, where we talk about why marriage is the solution, and why, no matter what the world calls marriage, and what kind of relationships they label as a marriage, when it comes to children's rights, there's only one relationship that does what marriage does, and that's traditional marriage. That is the only relationship that unites the two people to whom children have a natural right. Okay, so when that marriage breaks up and you move into all these divorce, the divorce fallout, all the instability, um, one thing that I read that just stunned me is some kids almost develop two different personalities. They have two different, they'll keep two different secrets. they'll express themselves in two totally different ways. I mean, they have information at one house that they don't have at the other house. Um, it's it's fascinating to me, and I've actually seen that at work, definitely in the stories that have come in the kids that I've observed, in the situations that I observed as a child myself, right? That the kids act one way at mom's house and another way at dad's house because they literally are living two different lives.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, there's really no happy ending when it comes to divorce. There's just sort of learning to live in this new kind of split reality.
I want to close by asking a question about the media